Hey everyone, and welcome. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for today's explainer. We're bringing you a highly focused, high-value briefing that maps out India's latest strategic developments as of today, July 24th, 2026. If you really want to understand the trajectory of a rapidly growing global power, you have to look at the moves being made right now, across the board. Today, we're going to unpack a series of recent events that, well, on the surface, they might seem totally unrelated. But together, they paint a fascinating picture of national momentum. We're going to cut right through the noise and get straight to the facts that matter most. So let's just dive right into it. What do raw aluminum, supercomputers, and surface-to-air missiles actually have in common? I know, you might be scratching your head thinking I'm setting up a weird joke or that these belong in completely different conversations. But actually, scratch that. They form a unified, incredibly dynamic narrative about India's advancement. Over the next few minutes, we're going to connect the dots across 4 key domains: land, air, global diplomacy, and defense. Each piece of this puzzle really shows how strategic self-reliance is being built from the ground up, literally all the way to the edge of the atmosphere.
All right, let's start at ground level. Section 1. The Earth. Odisha's greenfield bauxite boom.
To really wrap your head around the boom happening right now in the Kalahandi district, you just need this single powerful number: 41%. The state of Odisha alone accounts for a staggering 41% of India's total bauxite resources. That is massive. This newly highlighted Karlappat block, it's a greenfield project, meaning it's completely untapped, starting totally from scratch. And when one single state holds nearly half of a nation's supply of the primary ore used to make aluminum, well, it becomes the absolute bedrock for national industrial growth, manufacturing, and future infrastructure. The thing about this Karlappat block is that it's an absolute gold mine. Well, okay, an aluminum mine, but you get the idea. It contains about 45.2% alumina with very low silica content, which makes it exceptionally efficient to process. And that is exactly why we are seeing a cutthroat bidding war right now among industry heavyweights. I mean, the contenders aggressively vying for this block read like a total who's who of Indian industry. Adani, Reliance Industries, Hindalco, Vedanta Aluminum, PowerSem, and even Coal India. They all recognize that securing this high-grade resource is a massive strategic win that's going to fuel their supply chains for decades. Moving right along to Section 2, the air, forecasting with Mission Mausam. So, mastering the Earth is one thing, but mastering the weather, that secures everything from agriculture to aviation. And that is exactly the goal of Mission Mausam. It's this major initiative spearheaded by the Ministry of Earth Sciences and recently launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The overarching national objective here is to completely transform India into a weather-ready and climate-smart nation. And listen, this isn't just about checking an app to see if you need an umbrella tomorrow. This is a vital economic safeguard. By drastically improving weather observations, forecasting, and early warning systems, the country can protect its supply chains, optimize its farming outputs, and really cushion the economic shocks that come from extreme, unpredictable weather. But how does a nation actually become climate-smart in practice? The strategy is broken down into 3 very clear, actionable steps. Step 1 is simply gathering better observations, getting way more accurate data directly from the skies and the seas. Step 2 is where it gets really cutting edge. It's about using artificial intelligence and machine learning alongside these advanced Earth system models to process that raw data into highly precise forecasts. And finally, Step 3 is building a decision support system, or DSS, with last-mile connectivity. That essentially means ensuring the super high-tech data actually makes it to the local farmer right before drought, the city planner before flood, and the first responder exactly when they need it most. Now, here's the catch. You can't just run advanced AI and Earth system models on a standard laptop. You need absolute computational monsters. Enter Aranika and Arca. The Ministry of Earth Sciences has dramatically beefed up its computing power through these 2 brand-new supercomputing systems. Aranika brings a dedicated high-performance computing focus to the table, while Arca delivers massively enhanced processing capabilities. Together, these supercomputers are basically the digital engines crunching the petabytes of atmospheric data required to keep the entire nation weather-ready. Let's zoom out a bit for Section 3, the global community, BRICS disaster risk reduction. Looking at the global stage today, July 24, 2026, New Delhi is actually hosting the BRICS Ministerial Meeting on Disaster Risk Reduction. It's organized by the National Disaster Management Authority under India's current BRICS chairmanship, and the central theme is Building for Resilience, Innovation, Cooperation, and Sustainability. I want you to let those words sink in for a second. In an era where natural disasters absolutely do not respect national borders, mitigating those risks requires a highly collaborative international effort. This meeting isn't just some standard protocol event. It's a strategic alignment of major global economies pooling their innovations and resources to build sustainable, resilient infrastructures that can actually withstand future shocks.
And to truly understand the significance of today's meeting in New Delhi, you really have to look at this as a continuous strategic effort. It is definitely not an isolated summit. The BRICS cooperation on disaster risk reduction first took a major evolutionary step a decade ago with the Udaipur Declaration back in 2016. That framework was then recently updated and strengthened by the Kazan Declaration in 2024. Now here in 2026, the New Delhi ministerial meeting is taking those past agreements and translating them into modern, actionable disaster management protocols. It's been this steady, decades-long build toward collective security.
And finally, that brings us to Section 4, the fire, securing the skies with Kusha.
Just yesterday, an absolutely massive milestone in national security was achieved off the coast of Odisha from APJ Abdul Kalam Island. The hardware? A system called Kusha. Kusha is a long-range surface-to-air missile system, or LRSAM. Now, this was developed domestically by the Defense Research and Development Organization, the DRDO, working alongside various industry partners who chipped in on the missile, radars, and command and control systems. Yesterday's maiden flight test was a resounding success, cleanly intercepting a high-speed, high-altitude electronic target. It is a textbook demonstration of India's evolving technological sovereignty when it comes to advanced defense capabilities.
What's really cool is that the Kusha LRSAM is not just a single-purpose weapon. It provides this incredibly comprehensive, long-range security umbrella across high altitudes. It's engineered to neutralize a totally diverse airborne threat matrix, essentially treating these four categories as equal priorities. It can lock onto nimble fighter jets, intercept incoming missiles, take down UAVs, and completely neutralize large enemy aircraft. It's a versatile, highly capable system that ensures the skies remain firmly protected against the huge variety of modern threats.
So, wow, we have covered an immense amount of ground today. We started deep in the bauxite mines of Odisha, moved up to the supercomputer-driven climate forecasting of Mission Mawsum, zoomed way out to international disaster cooperation with BRICS, and finally looked at the cutting-edge Kusha missile system securing the skies. All of these updates from just the past 24 hours reflect a nation pushing forward aggressively on multiple fronts. So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. From the raw Earth to the edge of the atmosphere, which of these four strategic developments do you believe will have the biggest, most transformative impact on the future? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer briefing, and as always, keep analyzing the facts.